We saw a game where actually I thought Japan really not just deserved the win, they had the win in their bag. How it ended, we all remember now. Matthew Strazel really pulled it out of the bag for France with that 3-pointer +1 with the foul that is very questionable if we could even call it a foul. I think we'll talk about this in a second, but I don't know, guys. What's your thoughts? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
First of all, Team Japan, they believed in themselves. And they do have quality. We see how Yuki Kawamura is balling once again. And Rui Hachimura was a problem for France, as well as Josh Hawkinson. The pick and pops they run with Hawkinson, they are very uncomfortable for Rudy Gobert and others. So he was making his long-distance shots, and at some point he was even fouled shooting a three-pointer. And Rui Hachimura was great. But honestly, at that point, when he got his second unsportsmanlike foul, I didn't think that Japan can still hang on in that game.
Yeah.
But I did not thought Japan can stay in this game.
We didn't think that, but when he got his second unsportsmanlike foul, it was already fourth quarter, so we were already proven wrong. We saw that they are in this game for real. And I saw a lot of reactions on Twitter, mainly from NBA people, who said that the game was rigged for France. That second sportsmanlike foul on Hachimura is not fair. In FIBA rules, it's super clear. It's an easy call. It is an unsportsmanlike foul.
Both of them.
Both of them. I mean, there's no discussion about that.
You know what else is in the rule book? It's a foul on a three-point shot, and I don't think we reached that in that moment where Matthew Strazel hits a 3-and-1 to tie it 84-84. I don't think we reached the limit of the foul there. There was landing spot was there, no contact. I don't know,
I don't think that's a foul. I don't think that is a foul, but do you have to go for the contest like the Japanese guard did?
No.
In general, their defense when they were up by 4 didn't make any sense what they were doing defensively. So,
I wanted to say like in the
a more experienced player would easily avoid that. You don't even get to the position where the foul can be called.
It's like in the unofficial rule book for players, it is said like, don't jump when you are up 4 and the guy is shooting a three-pointer. And as Rytis said, there was a pick and roll, I think, happening, and Japan collapsed really hard in the paint to prevent a 2-pointer, which is actually better for them than the free.
It doesn't hurt you that much.
And then you jump on a 3-point shooter. So... And I agree there was no foul. Like Matthew Strazel did a fantastic job. You could see there was this picture on Twitter going viral. Like Yuki Kawamura is not even touching him.
Yeah.
But if you go back a couple of frames before, there is a left hand here on Strazel. But in the video, you can see Strazel is on the way, while starting his shot, already trying to emphasize the contact, doing the things with his legs, arms, and all that kind of stuff. And the ref, they are playing. They'll playing in France. Yeah. So I don't know how much that impacted the decision.
Yeah, now we got Olympics Mafia as well. But if we're talking in a serious manner, we have a new episode of Give Me Control with Todd Warnick and Donatas URBONUS. They analyze both situations with Hachimura and Strazel's foul. So make sure to check out BasketNews.com. And if you become our BM Plus member, you'll be able to watch this episode. So make sure to check out what the professionals think and what's their verdict.
But let's give credit to Matthew Strazel. You still have to make that wild shot. It's not just about a foul call. The 4-point play just doesn't happen out of nowhere. You have to make that shot. And not only that shot, what he's been doing in that game.
The whole game, actually. The whole game. Carrying France, I think.
All of a sudden, he became the biggest scoring threat in the game, the way he was shooting the ball. And you can see that the year he spent with Mike James, Kemba Walker, Jordan Lloyd, and these other guys really helped him elevate his game. Because honestly, when Olympic roster was announced for Team France, I think there were many people raising eyebrows thinking like, is this the right pick? Matthew Strozell on the Olympic team, isn't it too early for him in his career? Now we see that he is in the starting lineup, and when his team is in trouble, he is the guy who can shoot and who can make winning plays. So huge credit to him. What the refs call or they don't call, it's not his fault. But what he did with the basketball in his hands, that is impressive.
Yeah, I would just give another shout out, but now to the other team, Japan. You mentioned his name, Josh Hawkinson, a guy that kind of under the radar was my MVP of this game, just how he was moving on both ends of the floor. Not just those pick and pops, which were killing French defense, really. He got off like 6 3-pointers, 4 of them made. One of them was at the end kind of forced up. But generally, like defensively against the bigs of France, which is probably their strongest side, the front line, right? He was doing okay defensively. He got rebounds against these guys who are probably I don't know, like 5-7 centimeters taller than him. Wemby, Gobert, boxing out. He even got off this hook shot against Wemby. I don't know if you remember in the fourth quarter. It was a very crucial bucket. He just some kind of a little hook over Wemby to get the score either tied or go ahead. And I was just like, wow, this guy has been playing in Japan his whole career. He moved there quite early, I think after doing college or university or something like that, or maybe he even went to university there, got the nationality of theirs, and he's really not being talked about when we talk about Japan. And I know that the Japanese people, I saw in the comments a few times that they're saying Josh Hawkinson should be playing in the NBA. I wouldn't go as far as to say NBA, but like a really solid player playing under the radar, in my opinion.
He averages a double-double 2 games in after playing Germany and France. So and okay, maybe against Germany he wasn't that good defensively. Maurice Wagner was aggressive against him, but in this game, even defensively, he was solid.
I don't know. We have talked about this already after the game 1 about France playing terribly, and this game to me was just, I don't know. I was celebrating Japanese, the way they are playing their play style.
For sure.
Yuki Kawamura is my, I don't know. I might be changing my favorite player too often in this tournament. But after what this guy did yesterday, it's
how skilled he is. It's crazy.
He is
so crafty.
If he was a Lithuanian, and I'm picking Lithuania because, we are from Lithuania, he would be the most skilled guy we have on our team.
Definitely.
From the perimeter player.
Definitely.
It's just because he's, his height that he doesn't play at a much higher level, but what he's able to do for Japan on the court, I was not expecting him to continue making off the dribble shots in the second half because, well, you would just get tired. You're playing against super tall and lengthy defenders, like Nicolas Batum is guarding you then later in the game. Like that's the ultimate respect you can get when playing probably France if you're a perimeter guard. Like, if you start the game with someone else guarding you, and then it's when Sankole says, okay, Batum, you go take him. Like, you're the guy of that team.
I heard a rumor that it works differently in Team France, that it's Batum who says, I'm taking him.
Yeah, but that's also, when Batum sees a problem.
That's even more.
That's
even bigger respect for you.
So, and just his speed and his skill.
And confidence.
Confidence, shooting those shots from way behind the arc. Spectacular to watch.
He didn't make all the shots. Obviously, shot only 9 for 26.
But he had to shoot those shots because when they lost Hachimura, they were out of options. So the only option was he plays the pick and roll and then he makes the decision. Sometimes it was pulling from really deep range. But some people could say, okay, how are you praising a player who's only 9 from 26? But you have to see the game to understand what we're talking about. And it's normal that in the fourth quarter, especially in the overtime, he was out of gas. In the overtime, it was just too much to ask from him to win this game for Japan. But still, even in the overtime, Japan had a slight chance in the end of the game. So, the old saying, the old Lithuanian saying, France won the game, but Japan won our hearts.
I agree.
By the way, before Rui got fouled out, and in the first 3 quarters, Yuki shot 4 of 5 from the 3 points and 2 of 5 from the 2 points. So that's 6 of 10 shooting in the first 3 quarters until he becomes the only basically option for Japan in their offense, and before he gets super tired. And are we not going to mention the block on Gobert?
I was gonna wait.
The
for
guy
you
got
guys to
dunked
finish.
on in the game 1, and then
Second
he got this block.
Embarrassing moment.
There is just something about Rudy Gobert going into these tournaments as NBA Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know which one was more disrespectful. I guess still that posters. For
the
me,
dunk was crazy.
For me, that was a bit
was
more.
crazy.
But this time around, he literally had the ball right under the rim. It seemed like an open dunk. Hugh Watanabe jumps out of nowhere, block, and it was a very crucial block as well. And then just to add all these other moments to Gobert's low light reel, like every time he was in the post, you could feel that something bad. I was happy for Japan. So I was obviously rooting for Japan in this game. Every time I saw Rudy Gobert get the ball, I was like, yes, okay.
Everybody was rooting for Japan except French people.
Yeah.
And maybe even some French people at some point decided, what the heck, I'm going with Japan in this one.
The ultimate underdog story.